Hey guys, this is Brian with another Philosopher's Notes TV episode. This one is on Super Immunity by Joel Fuhrman, the essential nutrition guide for boosting your body's defenses to live longer, stronger, and disease-free. Joel Fuhrman, MD, is on Whole Foods' scientific advisory board, and if you've ever walked into a Whole Foods and seen their ANDI scale, the Aggregate Nutritional Density Index, you have him to thank for that. He came up with that idea. We'll talk about that in this note. But what we want to do here is learn from Dr. Fuhrman on how we can go from average immunity to super immunity. Some of the big ideas we're going to cover are Dr. Fuhrman's pyramid, flashing oil lights. We don't just want to snip the light. We want to take care of the problem. Cruciferous vegetables. They are our primary disease fighters. He has something called GOMS or G-bombs. Greens, onions, mushrooms, berries, beans, and seeds. Pretty powerful stuff. Health equation. Health equals nutrients over calories. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the importance of exercise, and we'll talk about your extraordinary healing potential. We'll see what we can get through in these 10 minutes. So, the book is packed with goodness. This book and Eat to Live are fantastic. Here's what Dr. Fuhrman tells us. He says, most health authorities today are in agreement that we should add more servings of healthy fruits and vegetables to our diet. He says, I disagree. What? Well, he says, thinking about our diet in this fashion doesn't adequately address the problem. Instead of considering adding protective fruits, vegetables, beans, seeds, and nuts to our disease-causing diet, we must make these foods the main focus of the diet itself. So he's got a different type of pyramid than what we might be used to checking out. He says it starts with vegetables. Half raw, half cooked. That is the base of our pyramid here. Then we add on the fruits and the beans, legumes. For him, it's the seeds, the nuts, the avocados, whole grains, and potatoes. And then you have a limited side of eggs, fish, fat-free dairy, red meats, etc. So the point here is don't try to add on vegetables at the end of the discussion. Start with them. These are the keys to your super immunity. Whatever details you get into around how much of this stuff you have, everyone's going to agree on this needs to be our platform, needs to be our foundation. Healthy fruits and vegetables, with vegetables right there at the base. Now, he has a great way of thinking about it. He says, most of what doctors do today to treat diseases does little to extend human lifespan. And in some cases, it's often worthless and even harmful. Why? Because what it's doing is it's encouraging patients' risky lifestyle behaviors and self-destructive eating choices to continue. Now, if you can take a drug to avoid taking care of the problem, that's just not a good idea. He says it's kind of like when you treat symptoms and you don't halt the advancing pathology, which is likely to get worse, the solution is akin to your mechanic fixing the flashing oil light on your car's dashboard by simply snipping the wire to the light. Sure, you can get rid of the symptoms. You no longer see the flashing light. You no longer have the symptoms that you don't want to experience in your life, but you did nothing to deal with the underlying problem. So let's not treat the symptoms, which is kind of like snipping the flashing oil light. Thank you, light, for coming back on. Let us go to the root of the problem. Here's one way to go to the root. We want to go to cruciferous disease fighters. He says green vegetables such as kale, cabbage, collards, and broccoli, plus some non-green vegetables such as cauliflower and turnips, are called cruciferous vegetables. Now, these cruciferous vegetables are extraordinary in how they help us treat disease. Get this. Dr. Fuhrman tells us cruciferous vegetables are twice as powerful as other plant foods. They've done studies where they've seen a 20% increase in plant food intake generally corresponds to a 20% decrease in cancer rates. But a 20% increase in cruciferous vegetables corresponds to a 40% decrease in cancer rates. That's amazing. Increase your cruciferous vegetable intake by 20%. You will decrease your cancer rate likelihood by 40%. That's amazing. He continues by saying 28 servings of vegetables per week decreases prostate cancer risk by 33%. But just 3 servings of cruciferous vegetables per week decrease prostate cancer risk by 41%. I got that a little wow. That's worth rewinding and listening to again. Cruciferous vegetables are our primary disease fighters. Now, these include arugula, bok choy, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, collards, horseradish, kale, kohlrabi, mustard greens, radishes, red cabbage, turnip greens, watercress. Go check out your produce department. See how many of those you can throw into your shopping cart on your next trip, and do yourself and your family a favor and dramatically reduce your risk of getting cancer. Dr. Fuhrman talks about his G-bombs. I'm going to move to the one of the core tenets of his entire philosophy, which is his nutrient density ratio, and this is his equation for health. Health equals nutrients over calories. Health equals nutrients over calories. Now, the idea here is we need to avoid low nutrient foods, such as white breads and processed foods, soft drinks, sweets, and fruit juices and all that stuff, which are really high in calories, but really low in nutritional value. You want to jack up your nutritional value through all of this kind of stuff that we're talking about, and watch how much of your calories are coming from depleted foods. He says this, incredibly, by 2010, processed foods had become 62% of the calories consumed in the standard American diet. 62% of our calories come from processed foods. Look, the idea here is simple. We need to eat more whole, unprocessed, unrefined foods, starting with the most nutrient-dense foods we can find, which are those cruciferous vegetables, the leafy greens, right? The romaines, the kales, and all these collards and wonderful, wonderful, dense leafy greens, big salads twice a day. In his other book, Eat to Live, he talks about if you can get one thing out of his book, it would be eat a huge salad twice a day. Make that the main course. Everything else comes around the side. Now, moving from nutrition for a moment to exercise, Fuhrman goes off. He says, the researchers found that the frequency of colds among people who exercised 5 or more days a week was up to 46% less than that of people who were largely sedentary. And when you did get sick, you got better quicker if you exercise. He says exercise not only helps your immune system fight off simple bacterial and viral infections, it also decreases your chances of developing heart disease, osteoporosis, and cancer. We've got to develop an exercise program. Here you go. Exercise 5+ times per week. You will get basically 50% less colds. And when and if you get them, you're going to recover much more quickly. Get out there and exercise with your family. Make it a lifestyle habit, a daily practice. And remember our other videos on exercise. Not exercising, not only does it boost your immune system, but not exercising is like taking a depressant, Tal Ben-Shahar tells us. We don't want to take depressants. That's never a good idea. Life has enough stress and challenges to it. We don't need to contribute to it. So let's exercise. As we integrate all these ideas, Fuhrman tells us your body has an amazing healing potential waiting to be unleashed by the gift of superior nutrition. He says most of us should be able to extend our lifespan to surpass 95 good years of age. 95 good years of age. Super Immunity will do that for you. Focusing on some of these ideas, get his book, Super Immunity, Eat to Live, powerful stuff. He says great health can be yours, but you can't buy it. You must earn it. Great health can be yours, but you can't buy it. You got to earn it. Get to work with the little things, fundamentals. What's the biggest idea you got out of here, and how can you implement it in your life today? Think about that. Get your super immunity on. Hope you enjoyed. Look forward to sharing more with you soon. Have another great day. See ya.